Hi, and welcome to Michigan Matters. I hope you're enjoying the holiday weekend. We're going to kick things off talking about the season and consumer spending with Nate Forbes, managing partner of Forbes Company, which owns Somerset Collections and other upscale malls in Florida. He's also a major supporter of U of M athletics, which we might get you a question or two about that. Then we're checking in with some Metro Detroit entrepreneurs making a splash with their products. One is going national with their gourmet cookies, and the other is a collection of veterans and Detroiters using recycled auto parts to make cool bags, shoes, and more. It's a show teeing up the holiday season and celebrating a few wonderful entrepreneurs. Let's get started.
From CBS Detroit, this is Michigan Matters with Carol Kane. Michigan Matters is brought to you in part by Henry Ford Health.
And we're pleased to welcome Nate Forbes, managing partner of Forbes Company, a real estate company that owns Somerset Collections and 3 upscale malls in Florida. It is so great to see you. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Carol. It's my favorite time of year.
It's your biggest time of year, too. No doubt
Yes,
about
it
that.
is.
We are in the throes of this fourth quarter here where so much of how a company does is what happens in these next, the last 3 months of the years here. So how are things looking for this fourth quarter in the mall business?
I got to tell you, retail's been very resilient. And through all the tariffs and the conversation of tariffs, implementation of tariffs, retailers have stayed resilient. The customer and the consumer is showing up. They're continuing to spend. And sales have been very, very good.
So Deloitte, which does an annual study, has this 2025 holiday spending at $1.6 trillion. That's with the T, trillion, which is up about 3% over last year. Does that sound about right?
That's about what
you're
we're seeing. We're seeing pretty much low to mid-digit, single-digit increases from last year.
Okay, so your company owns Somerset and 3 malls in Florida, right?
Correct, yes.
So how is Somerset doing? How are the 3 Florida malls doing?
I got to tell you, Florida's a tremendous growth community, right? When we opened our first center in Florida in 1988, Florida had 10 million people. Fast forward today, they have 23 million people and growing. But Michigan's been great. Somerset, 45% of our stores are their only stores in the state of Michigan. So it's a real draw for the entire region to come to Somerset, spend the day, bring their family. It's a generational asset, generational retail place to shop. We continue to provide a high level of service to our guests and consumer. And it's just something people become, falling in love with. It's like the old Hudson's department store experience back in the day in downtown Detroit.
Right. Well, it's Hudson's, Macy's. How many times has it changed hands here with all of that? So the success of retailers, we've seen a number of retailers going out of business, big name chains that just, they can't make it. But you have had success, and you haven't had much churn of your big box name stores out at the mall, right?
Yeah, listen, I think the thing about retail today is you got to stay current. And we follow a leasing strategy that's best in class in all retail categories. So whether it's our large box users or our inline retailers, we always want to stay ahead of the curve and bring in those stores that are speaking to today's consumer and consumer taste, which typically starts with the female shopper.
Yeah.
And today we're seeing a wider breadth of female shopper and even some of that family shopping with the males so that we're trying to speak to them as well. So best in class in all retail categories, constantly turning over and maintaining a strong demographic and a strong trade area to pull from.
So, and I know Somerset is one of the must-go-to locations that my sisters and I go shopping, and I know they've got lots of great stores there. There's so much competition, though, in the marketplace for consumers with online, e-commerce, the Amazons. How are you adjusting with that? Obviously you're not running stores, but and you're supporting what they're doing.
I think the biggest thing is the retailers' changes. And retailers have figured out they can't have a good e-com business without a strong brick-and-mortar platform. So they have really found that they have to come in the apex to speak to both consumers, both the e-commerce consumer and the brick-and-mortar consumer. And a lot of times the brick-and-mortar stores will act as a veil because people might not make purchases that day, but if they've had a great experience, both visually and from the service side, they'll go home over time and buy on e-com. It just strengthens their business.
So how do you get people to come into the store? In other words, as opposed to just saying, let me just go online, I can go and get everything I need online, don't need to bother to. I know I literally every holiday season go through saying, I'm going to buy everything local as much as I can. Then you hit a point like you can't do that anymore. But how do you get people to continue to come to the actual brick and mortar
Yeah, there's
mall?
the 3 Fs, fit, feel, and fabrication. And I think all the sophisticated consumers want to feel all of those things. They want to see the fit, the feel of the fabric, and the fabrication, how it drapes on their body. So you'll never take away the presence of going into the store, having somebody service you, get you a different size if that one doesn't fit. In a lot of cases, 40 to 60% of online retail purchases are returned. So this adds as another place to really make sure that that purchase is the correct purchase for the individual.
So you oversee a second-generation company here. And just real quickly, if I were to say to you, from the time you joined the company till now, what's been the biggest change at the company?
I just think it's a cultural thing, right? I mean, it's a different generation today, and you speak to your consumer in different ways. Social media plays a much different role today in how we talk to our consumer. Working with our retailers as true retail partners, figuring out how to reach our consumer, how to make sure our consumer continues to come back to our physical assets, and how do we service that guest after they leave. One of the programs we started coming out of COVID is what we call From Our Stores to Your Doors. So we provide free delivery from any one of our 160 retailers to your door within 60 miles free of charge.
Is there a minimum charge?
There is not. I mean, we used to have customers that used to...
I did not know that. I did.
We'll send you a Starbucks coffee if you need one.
I appreciate that. We're going to take a quick break and continue the conversation with Nate Forbes after this. And welcome back to Michigan Matters. We're talking with Nate Forbes, who's managing partner of Forbes Company, which owns Somerset Collections, also a philanthropist. And let's talk a second about that. You and your wife, Catherine, are huge U of M, particularly U of M athletic department donors, and in fact just donated money for a new orthopedic medicine center, which is part of this statewide undertaking that U of M's building.
Yeah, it's going to be the Sports and Orthopedic Institute up in Ann Arbor. It'll be a new development that'll start early next year, and it'll really put Michigan on the map in terms of sports medicine, research, rehabilitation, surgery, and really be able to service not only the student athlete, but the region as a whole.
You also are part of the leadership group for U of M has a $7 billion, that's B with a boy, $1 billion endowment campaign there, and you're one of the ringleaders of this. Curious in this environment and this economy how that's going.
It's going great. I got to tell you, we're about 60% through the raise of $7 billion. It's the Look to Michigan campaign. My wife, Catherine, and myself are one of the 8 co-chairs of that campaign. And it's been an undertaking that's gone on now in the public phase of the fundraising for a little over a year. And we're about 60% through that fundraising.
What's the timeline of that?
It's usually a 5-year campaign, and so we'll see how it goes over the next couple of years.
You also were once part owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers under our friend Dan Gilbert when the team won an NBA championship. That must have been really cool to be part of all that. With that said, I'm curious, your thoughts about what's going on with college athletics right now?
You know, it's changed, Carol. The landscape has changed.
The business of college athletics.
The business of college athletics has changed. It's changed probably 2 to 3 times, and if we sat here a year from now, it will have changed another 1 to 2 times. So it's a continual evolving process, and the fact it really started about 4 years ago when the Supreme Court ruled that student athletes could get paid for their name, image, and likeness.
Right.
Now we're in a revenue sharing situation where each institution gets a number of dollars that it can use as revenue share for student athletes, but that doesn't negate the need for collectives, for private fundraising to supplement that budget.
So it makes me wonder if colleges hadn't been greedy and shared revenue with student athletes, would we be at this point here? I think probably not.
You know, it's a point in time. And it's something that was...
We could have avoided all this, the need for the Supreme Court and NCAA and everything else here. Anyways, let's move on with this. You are also, as you mentioned, you are a board member of the Champion Circle, which is tied to this name, image, and likeness, this which is raising money, doing other things, but including raising money for athletes, athletics. And I know, in fact, because of Jolie and Larry Ellison making their major donation, we're able to secure quarterback Bryce Underwood's decision to change and come to Michigan as that. Are you concerned about what this is going to do to athletics when it's a pay-for-play kind of thing here with these high school, all-star type things and allegiances? Well,
you just hit on the biggest thing. What is the loyalty factor moving forward? And what are the guideposts and goalposts around the rules of college sports? Yeah. So if college athletes can transfer, which before there was 2 transfer portals every year. Now there's going to be one. So what are the guidelines by which we're operating under college athletics? And not having that loyalty and that commitment to go to a university and stay in a university is really troublesome for kids that start at 18 years old and will play until they're 21 or 22. So the influences around them become so important as to what they ultimately do with that money and with their decision making.
I think there's a evolution of college athletics taking place here, and I know there's many more questions about it, but I'm curious. Let's go to education for a second. A lot of your philanthropic efforts are tied to University of Michigan. You're obviously an alum. Why are you donating to the college?
Listen, I think higher education to me is one way to really change the outcome of our future. And the future of this country and this world are in the younger children's hands. And if we can change the outcome through a lot of different avenues, through research, through development, through advocacy, through creating forums to share public viewpoints and outputs and people's decision making and people's thought process, it's important to me to have an imprint on what the future is of this country, because at some point in time we're going to leave our future into their hands.
What do you think, if I were to say to you, I know that you are dealing with many different things here, write a headline on what we're going to say about the state of college athletics when we look back 5 years from now about what was taking place right now?
I think it's going to have, my personal opinion, it looks more like a minor league for professional sports.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's what college sports was ever intended to be. I will ask you what Bo would have said, but I already asked Ward Manuel, who was on the show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Ward's better in tune to answer that question for sure.
Anyways, listen, I want to thank you so much for being with us. Again, happy holidays. I know there's so much going on here and all good, uplifting holiday season here.
It's a great time of year, both for the city of Detroit and for our region. A lot of positive things happening, Carol, and just glad to be a part of it and try to move our great state of Michigan forward.
And there's much more to say. Appreciate you being here. Have you back another time. We'll talk more about some of these things.
Anytime.
All right,
Thank
keep
you.
it right here. We're back with a little bit more Michigan Matters after this. And welcome back. We're now joined by Rebecca Abel Buick, who is a financial planner by background, an entrepreneur who launched her Divine Cookie line, gourmet cookies, rolling out in Target stores nationally right now. Congratulations, happy holidays, and congrats on Target.
Thank you so much. It's a dream.
Oh my gosh. So here's the thing about your story that just blows my mind. You didn't even own a cookie sheet 10 years ago, and you decided you wanted to make a gourmet cookie, go national, and you bought a cookie sheet, and here you are.
It's been a journey. Much more than a baker, I'm a designer, so I love design, and was doing home interiors, my own home interiors for years, and then really found that my same interest could translate to cookies. And I'm an entrepreneur, and I could see cookies starting to trend 8 years ago, and wanted to, just got a gut instinct that this was a good opportunity for me.
Well, we have sitting here on the table some of the cookies that are being sold in Target stores now, and so that's quite a feat too.
Yeah, it's before I launched the company, the goal was to build a national brand. That was always my intention, and I did a lot of research and trial and errors over the years to figure this out. I feel like I've got a great product. It's a stuffed cookie, and there's no artificial colors or flavors in the cookies. So that's, I think, really what got the interest in the retailers like Target.
So you were making cookies, but now you're outsourcing, contracting them now. And so you're managing, and that's going to be your way to the future, right?
Yeah, for years I had my own facilities, and it was really preventing me from focusing on sales. And so about 1.5 years ago, I shut down my factory and moved to contract manufacture. And that's really been a game changer for me to be able to focus on more product innovation and sales.
So how many different types of cookies are you making, and how do you do your market research? Like, maybe that's a type of cookie I should be making.
Well, I get a lot of the trade journals on baking and follow the trends. We really have over 20 stuffed cookie flavors. Going into Target, there are 3 flavors. There's stuffed peanut butter chocolate, which is here, and then we've got stuffed birthday and stuffed strawberry. So Target's going to have 3 of our flavors, but we have many, many flavors, and that's really what's most fun about this business is getting to be a dessert designer.
Well, you also make cookies, contract cookies for places like Detroit Wing Company and some others, right?
Yeah, we've been making cookies for Beyond Juice, Detroit Wing, a large gifting company out of Colorado. We've been doing a lot of private label for years. And then really, about 2 years ago, really wanted to put a push towards my own brand.
Yeah, and actually, what you have done and accomplished in such a short time is rather amazing. What do you attribute your success to?
I would say focus. I try to keep things as simple as possible and stay focused on the goal, and knew what I wanted. I'm very intentional about what I do with my time, and knew right from the get-go this was the goal of building this national brand. And so with focus and lots of trial and error, I've been able to make some progress.
And you've pivoted in terms of what you've been doing too. And I know occasionally your 2 teenage sons have been helping, and your husband Joe has been helping in different ways too.
My husband, my brother, my 2 kids, my parents. So it's been a family effort for several years, and takes a village. Definitely takes a village to get your cookies into Target. So yeah, it's not been without a lot of help and a lot of great people.
So you are a financial planner, as mentioned, and you still are running your financial planning company, right? You still have clients.
I've been doing financial planning, money management for 26 years now, and that I have a great team helping me on that. And really, I'm able to balance time with the two by having great staff.
You also are building quite a brand already here. Your first year, I think you told me you got made like $250,000 in sales the first year. Mm-hmm. This year coming up, you're expecting what, $5-6 million in sales? That's a lot of cookies.
It's a lot of cookies, yeah. Every day we're making, close to 30,000 cookies, and looking to, expand from there. But yeah, we, with launching this product really in 2025 with our distributor, we've gotten the attention of a lot of the big national chains, because I feel like we've got a really good cookie. So
we're sitting here too it's the holiday weekend, families, people are kind of chilling, whatever. Let's say someone's watching at home and they have a great idea for a product they think would be a big spender, a big seller, whether it's regional or national. What's the one piece of advice you'd give that person?
Just get started and know that you're going to have to pivot along the way. You can have the best business plan in the world, but it's about getting started on that plan and being flexible, because I have had to pivot time and time again. And it's also...
At one point, you even had a standalone store that you were part of, and a food truck that were selling cookies too, right?
Yeah, in the beginning, I tried everything because I wasn't sure what was going to be the growth of my business. But yeah, I tried a lot of different things, and over the years, I've figured out what works.
And obviously, it's working extremely well here. Again, you can find Divine Cookies in Target. Congratulations to you. Amazing success in a short time here. You should be writing a book about this. You're going to be Detroit's version of Joanna Gaines, right, from HGTV?
That would be a dream. Yeah, she's really my my business inspiration of what she's done with her brand. I'd love to.
She's done amazing things too. Anyway, thank you again. Happy holidays to you.
You too, as well.
Okay. And keep right here. We got a little bit more Michigan Matters coming up after this short time out. We're now joined by Nathaniel Crawford II, co-owner and vice president of footwear division at Pingree Detroit, who's also an Air Force veteran. Thank you very much for your service.
Thanks, man.
And Jarrett Schloff, who's the founder, CEO of Pingree Detroit, who are both here to talk about a fascinating company making some fascinating products here. Happy holidays to you before we get started here.
Gift to be here with you today.
Well, and your timing, you guys just opened a new store in downtown Detroit in the Detroit district over by
the Fox Theater.
The Fox Theater there, the pedestrian where the walkway is. Mm-hmm. Congratulations to you on your store, and how is it going so far?
It's been so fun. Yeah, we just opened on Veterans Day. The festive season's coming about, like with all this super walkable street with all these amazing restaurants. We're just about to kick off the whole holiday season, on December 1st with decorations and holiday fest. So it's a really exciting time to be right there.
Well, and in fact, you founded Pingree Detroit, and I know that, Nathaniel, you joined the company too. The company includes Detroiters and veterans, right? That kind of makes it unique.
Yep, local makers, designers, all different walks of life have an opportunity to have a hand in this awesome mission in the community.
And actually, okay, so let's talk too about the products that you use in making this. And Jarrett, you have diverted, I read on the website, 55,000 pounds of leather, vinyl, and seatbelts that were previously that were part of cars or were going to be cars left over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did you get them from where they were to making them into these beautiful products we're seeing here on the table?
So it's this beautiful world-class material. So when the production process of these brand new car seats and steering wheels and seat belts, there's leftover pieces, there's remnants. Or when they're figuring out, hey, what's the color going to be of this car and the texture and the warmth, there are those test samples. And so we get that, instead of that being lost in the process and becoming a waste stream or becoming an expense, we're able to kind of insert ourselves in the supply chain, be a participant with them to take this beautiful material, turn it into bags and boots and wallets.
And we're seeing some of the design, some of the designer shoes I'm seeing up here.
Indeed.
Where did you get the idea to start the company?
So it started, honestly, with a purpose before we even come up with a product. It started with this idea of we are meeting hardworking folks who are looking for opportunity, happen to be veterans and Detroiters that were just looking for a chance to work with their hands, to be a part of a mission-driven environment. And so it started with a question and a curiosity of what could we do in Detroit? You know, we put the world on wheels, arsenal of democracy, we can do anything here. What would it look like for me to be a part of creating something like that? And so we started with just that curiosity, and that led to a conversation with an elder in my neighborhood, and I told him what I was going to do. He goes, you know, it sounds like you're about to be the boots on the ground Detroit. I said, boots! We should make boots! And 11 years later, we're making shoes, bags, wallets, 28 different products.
Well, and I also noticed, particularly in some of the charms that we have up here, where a veteran makes it and their tag is on, I made this product. So you know who specifically is making this. So what is your role within the company now?
Well, the Vice President of Footwear Operations, maker of the first pair of sneakers made in Detroit since the 50s, called the Mayors. And then we have our Chukka Striders that I help produce as well. And they go from a men's 3 all the way up to 15, so a woman's 5 is the smallest we're able to do. And it's been a joy bringing forth the Mayors, our Chukka Striders, and we also have Eastsider low tops as well.
How do you decide what to make, what products, in other words? You wait to see what kind of material you can get from this and say, this would be good for bags or backpack or whatever.
That's the beautiful challenge, is we have an opportunity consistently to take materials that were otherwise discarded, and we can say, okay, we've got enough to make 3 of this, or hey, there's enough, we have enough leather to make some shoes out of this size. So we often will determine what we can produce based on what we have. And then the products themselves, it's a combination of doing the traditional market research, looking at trends, looking at how we can improve, what we can do different, but it's also our customers. We often say that relationships are our strongest currency, and that's because so many folks come up and say, wow, I really wish you made this, and well, what if you added this? And hey, man, I really want a longer strap. And so we take that input.
Put that in there.
So valuable.
So how many products in all are you guessing you make right now?
So over 28. Yeah, with the charms being the 29th, actually. This is our newest product. This is the world debut right here. You can only get them in store
at Michigan Matters.
Yeah.
Hold it up there. There, you put it on your bags, your purse, your workout bag, whatever you have here. Exactly. So you're also, the other thing you're doing, which is great, is that you're providing skilled trades training for people too, right? And this is part of this. It's all free. They come in and they're making a livable wage, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And so in the process of learning how to do, like Nate leads our shoe division, so teaching shoemaking, teaching leather crafting, we're talking old school hammer nails, precision, but it's, working with that purpose to both divert materials to support and make our neighborhood stronger, to learn industrial sewing. We see such a value in having that craftsmanship, American made, bringing that quality back and really investing in our community.
And last question here. What's the #1 best-selling product you have right now?
Right now, possibly the Motown venue bag. Some of that research that you mentioned, this was big on the research. 4x6, get you in all the ballparks and arenas. Yeah, we got different color styles.
There we go. That looks like a good gift for lots of people here. And they can find you guys down, or you're down not only by the Detroit district, but you're online as well.
Yeah.
Folks can shop at pinkerdetroit.com. They can reserve these, hold any size phone. They
there
can
we
find
go.
us at the Rust Belt
I'm going to have you guys
Easter
back another
Market.
time to talk more about new products you're doing here. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
And happy holidays to you at home. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. And we will see you next Sunday for a little bit more Michigan Matters.